My name is Michael Maji. I'm an educator and a laboratory technologist. When you mention corruption, a lot of persons go as far as looking at the public office holders, the politicians, and those looting money and public fund. But the point is, what is corruption? Corruption is a deviation from one's moral values. It's a deviation from integrity. Now, corruption does not only mean embezzlement of public fund and all that. As little as taking bribe, giving, extortion, and the likes of that, as little as they appear, they are corruption. Now, if you're a corrupt person, or if I'm a corrupt person, how will this affect me? Number one, it would deflate you of the audacity to fight against corruption. When you are corrupt, you can't fight against what you have been a beneficiary of. Number two, your integrity as a person will be jeopardized. You will not have that moral conscience to stand against something that is bad. And number three, corruption as a person affects every aspect of your life. When I say every aspect, your health as a person, if you are a beneficiary, when you find yourself in a medical facility where corruption is being practiced, you can't voice out because you are a beneficiary of the system that brought about your experience. And to crown it all professionally, if you are a corrupt person or you find yourself in an environment that is prone or that is clouded with corruption, it minimizes your opportunity. It reduces your chances of making impact. Once again, it reduces your voice. It breaks your audacity. You won't have that boldness to fulfill or to maximize your potential. Of course, on several occasions, especially when you deal with those agencies that manage our utilities, like the power supply, water, and even in the hospital. What happens when there's a breakdown in the power supply and you report the case, and those people who are employed to fix that system are asking you to pay a particular amount outside what you ought to pay just because you want your light to be fixed? What happens if there's a pipe burst and it's causing some damage in your neighborhood, and you invite the water board to come and fix, and they are telling you, before I will come, God, find me something, like Nigerians will say. So all this, as simple as they are corruption. So, in that case, many times you ask yourself, what do you do? Should I give this because I want this to be done? And that brings me to my principle, because I believe principles are superior to principalities. It's in my principle never to give, to take, or to ask for bribe. So I don't. I don't take, I don't give, and I don't ask for. Let me start by telling you this. As I speak to you for about a week now, we've not had power supply in my neighborhood. Why? Just a little thought. And as I speak to you, the barber there is suffering to work. The welder around me, they are suffering. The laundry man there is struggling to carry out his business transaction. The saloon and the rest of them have been affected. Why? Because of a simple problem that can be fixed within 5 minutes. And why has this problem not been fixed? Because these guys are making demand that you must give them something. Okay, if you want me to fix your light, you will do this. If you want me to do this, you will do this. The same thing when you go even to the public hospital. If you want them to attend to you fast, you have to drop something. We all are Nigerians, we know what I'm talking about. All this affect people. Have you been in a hospital where you see someone is dying and the nurse or whoever is in charge doesn't care because he felt like you don't have what he's looking for? So, corruption affects, number one, your health as a person. When you go to the public health center, you discover that as simple as chloramphenicol is, ciprofloxacin, ofloxacin, all these antibiotics you expect them to have, they don't have. And when you look at the budget, you discover that these provisions have been made. The question is, where are the funds? The question is, what happened? Coming to our public schools like we have in the FCT, the LEA, Local Education Authority. Like the Buhari, for example, if you go to LEA Buhari, you will see about 80 people. Let me use the word compacted, it may not be correct, but compressed in a single class, like sardine. And then you now be wondering, how will these children learn? I'm happy that the present administration have approved autonomy for the local government. Let's hope and see that will solve the problem on ground. But however, that does not negate the fact that so long as those corrupt people are still in the system, it may take a serious fight to get the result out of the approval and the local autonomy that have been given to the local government. As I speak to you presently, I'm under a threat for reporting something I saw a few weeks ago. And I actually learned from that. If you must report, be wise and be discreet about how you go reporting. I saw something which was very bad, and I felt like, no, if I allowed this, my conscience wouldn't allow me. Then I contacted the agency, it's an external examination body, and I contacted them and all that, and then I sent a message. About 2-3 hours after I sent the message, I got a call from their office. Do you know who is speaking? I am this, I am that. You reported this. I said yes. He said, why didn't you come to our office to report? I said, but the numbers and the details or the lines I report are your official contact. I don't know who they belong to, but I saw them on your page, on your website. So I sent my report there. Then I said, I should note that they have my details. I wasn't even moved. Reason? I have my evidence, I have my fact, I have my information intact, and I'm waiting for it. However, I still encourage any day, any time, to report any form of corrupt practice you see in any part of the world, not only in Nigeria. We focus more corruption in Nigeria, not knowing that it's a cancer that has spread beyond the borders of Nigeria. Corruption has spread, it's like a cancer, it's a virus that has eaten deep into the system. But let's narrow it down to Nigeria. People are scared of reporting corruption simply because they know there's freedom of speech, but freedom after speech may not be guaranteed. However, they report it. I will live in truth than die a coward. For me as a person, I've lost trust in government agencies. However, there are few government agencies that I can beat my chest any day, anytime, that these ones I can trust whatever they tell me. And that's the armed forces. Why? Because of their discipline, their resilience, and their integrity. To combat corruption in Nigeria, the first thing you do is grant independence. When I say independence, not theoretical, but practical independence to the judiciary. Number 2, empower the anti-graft agency, anti-corruption agency, empower them. Number 3, protect by all means. Again, protect by all means those who report corruption or the whistleblowers in court. Number 4, all government transactions, all government dealings must be publicized so that the public will know what and follow up with government activities. Corruption has negatively impacted job opportunity in the education sector. How? Tribalism, nepotism, and favoritism. For you to get a job in any government agency today, as we speak, you must know somebody, or you have the money to pay for the job. It will amaze you that a lot of persons working in the public institutions somehow paid for that job. The question is, how about those who don't have the means to pay for the job? Number 2, another effect or impact of corruption on recruitment and employment in the education sector is that you end up employing those who are not qualified for the job. And if you recruit and employ those who are not qualified for the job, you end up training people who are not well cooked, people who are not well, how will I put it now? People who are not well trained. And that is why you see a lot of buildings collapsing these days. You see a lot of people dying in the hospitals from doctors' mistake or from medical practitioners' mistake. I have seen recently where a doctor or a pharmacist prescribed a drug for somebody, and I look at this drug and I said, no, you can't take this drug. Rather, go back to another pharmacy and get the right prescription. Now, what would have happened to that person if I have no idea about drugs? Somebody trained that person. So, the effect of corruption is not only on those practicing it, but it ripples down to everyone connected and related to the system. I've been waiting to witness one, but not yet. You see, the idea or the concept of probing corrupt practices in Nigeria, for me, has not yielded most result. I'm sorry to say it, but let's take a look at the EFCC when it was inaugurated and established by the Obasanjo administration. Personally, I've seen it more as a weapon against opposition, personally. I'm sorry for that, but that's it. That's my opinion about that. However, every day, if you tune to your radio, you put on your satellite, your TV, you hear one or two cases of corruption. The question is, how many people have been prosecuted? How many people have been brought to book? So, coming down to my own neighborhood, my locality, my environment, my community where I live, we see these things every day. Once it gets to the police station, it remains there, dies there, buries there, and the next thing you see the person moving freely on the street, and the person goes to do the worst. But however, I've not given up on the system. I still believe that there's still hope for the future. And in no distant time from now, a lot of result from what Nigerian youth are fighting for. We say recently some multinational industries of pens close up and left the country. The question is, have we tried to find out why they are leaving? The economic environment is not favorable. Why is the economic environment not favorable? Just one reason: corruption. Now, one of the major impacts of corruption in Nigeria is that it will prevent foreign investors from coming into the country. And once foreign investors are not coming, it affects your reputation outside. Number two, it affects the credibility of Nigeria as a nation. Number four, it gives a negative image, a bad picture to Nigerians out there. If you're transacting business with anybody outside this country and they realize you're a Nigerian, the first thing they will ask you, I hope I'm safe in this transaction. They are more scared doing business with you than even trying to help you. Now, when the system is corrupt, when a nation is corrupt, nothing grows. Instead of growing, it begins to groan. Instead of going forward, it begins to retard, begin to go backward. So, in summary, one, corruption gives a bad image to the country. Foreign investors cannot come in. The credibility of the country is affected, and so many others. Report corruption to the appropriate authority at all levels. Number two, we must educate Nigerians on the need to fight corruption. Number three, we must encourage ourselves to participate actively in politics. The rate of political apathy in Nigeria is growing by the day because a lot of persons are discouraged by what their experience have been like. So, if we must fight corruption and bring corruption to its nails, then we must be ready to report and follow up whatever we have reported. Number two, we must be ready to educate each other and follow up with government policies. And then